So the majority of games from Canada Cup 76 have been uploaded to YouTube in recent months. I encourage anybody listening to this podcast to check those games out. Just as a recap, the Canada Cup was the brainchild of Alan Eagleson and members of Hockey Canada as a kind of adjunct to the World Championships. At the time in 1976, Canada's major pros were not allowed to play in the Olympics or the World Championships, and he came up with this kind of late summer, early fall tournament with the six of the best teams in the world, including Canada, Finland, Sweden, Russia, Czechoslovakia, and the States. But what really stands out for me is Team Canada's roster for that tournament is probably the best Team Canada ever put together. No disrespect to the 87 team, no disrespect to the 2002 Olympic champions, but this team is a who's who of Hall of Famers, WHA players, longtime NHL veterans, and coaching and all kind of different stuff. So we're going to go over the roster very quickly, and I'll give you a little bit of history behind some of the players. Now, this was a time after Montreal won the Cup in 76, after the Flyers two Cups in 74 and 75. So you're going to see a lot of the rivalry players here, and also Buffalo's French Connection line was still very hot at the time. So forwards and defense for the team included Bill Barber and Bobby Clark, Reggie Leach of the Flyers, the great Marcel Dion, Phil Esposito, Bob Gainey, sort of a defensive stalwart, Danny Gare, one of the youth players on the squad, the great Bobby Hull, Lafleur, Bahavlich, and Schutt, Guy Lapointe, Richard Martin, part of the French Connection, of course, with Gilbert Perreault, who also played, Lanny McDonald, Bobby Orr, who was on one knee at the time, Dennis Potvin, Larry Robinson, Serge Savard, Daryl Sittler, and like I said, Schutt, Carol Vadnais, who was former Montreal Canadian and Bruin, had a lot of respect within the Team Canada program, later played for Team Canada at the Worlds, and the Flyer stalwart defensive defenseman Jimmy Watson. Now the training camp team also include Pittsburgh Penguin and the Toronto Maple Leaf Dave Burrows, Dan Maloney, Jean Pronovost, who should have played, I think, on the main roster. The third part of the French Connection, René Robert, and WHA stalwart Paul Schmier. Now goalies for the tournament, Cheevers and Roger Vachon had the main starts, but Glenn Resch was the number 3, and Dan Bouchard was brought in for training camp. The Atlanta Flame star later with the Nordiques. Coaches for the tournament included head coach Scotty Bowman, Don Cherry, Bobby Crom, and Al McNeil. So I really think if you look at it, all the Hall of Famers are there, all the great players. I think why they were so successful, they brought in 3 solid lines. Again, Schutt, Lemaire, Lafleur, and Mahavlich. I think there were some omissions. Jacques Lemaire should have been brought in, of course, in many, many ways. There was no Mike Bossy at the time. There was no Brian Trottier, wasn't Brian Trottier. So the Islanders later on, the big players were not there, but Dennis Potvin was. So that was representative of the future dynasty of the Islanders. So some players were at the peak of their play, but I think when Lanny McDonald and Daryl Sittler and Marcel Dion are your third line, ladies and gentlemen, that's probably the best third line in any Team Canada of all time. Schutt, Lemaire, and Lafleur, and you had Bobby Hull playing with Phil Esposito, which was a throwback to the Chicago years as well, which is very important to recognize. I would have kept the Robert, Perreault, Martin line together, but I think Perreault being in the experience of the 72 Summit Series gave him a little bit of extra edge. We know Richard Martin left in 72, and if I'm not mistaken, Jean Pronovost, I don't think it was considered for the 72 Summit Series. I think Parise and Berenson and Goldsworthy were picked above him. But it would have been nice if Pronovost would have played for Team Canada in 76, because, you know, in the form, you put a Francophone in the form, you look how Perreault played in 76. Boys, is pretty impressive. So that's the story of the 1976 Team Canada Cup side. If you like what we're doing here, please give us a like, comment, or subscribe. Requests are also appreciated. And some of the players I mentioned, I've been podcasting on my channel. And Bobby Orr, that was before he made the comment on Trump. I would suggest people not to hold it against him, but the fact is, if Trump, after declaring victory last night, eventually loses, put it in perspective. Sometimes people make the wrong decisions, but we made the right decision playing Bobby Orr on one knee, and that shortened his career, ladies and gentlemen, because he was playing Gimpy in '76. So I have all the respect for him as a player. We all do in Canada. So again, but that the power play, ladies and gentlemen, when I saw Esposito and Hull and Lafleur and Potvin Robinson on the power play, holy mother of God. Czechoslovakians were lucky that they weren't blown out. And, this was the series where the Russians weren't that strong and where the States were building. So it's quite an interesting tournament. So do yourself a favor, watch the games on YouTube, and the majority of the games from the Forum, some from the Spectrum. Fascinating piece of history. More fascinating than 72 and 74, some in series combined. Thanks for listening. Bye.